It seems that TikTok might officially be facing a ban. Discussions about this have been ongoing for quite some time, and now the issue is reaching a critical point as it heads to the Supreme Court tomorrow. About 9 months ago, the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act was introduced to President Joe Biden, who promptly signed it into law.
Signed into law the national security package that was passed by the House of Representatives this weekend and by the Senate yesterday. It's going to make America safer, it's going to make the world safer, and it continues America's leadership in the world, and everyone knows it.
Both Democrats and Republicans reached a rare consensus on the need for stricter regulations on the App Store and reduced foreign influence, particularly from rival nations.
When it comes to media apps like TikTok, we are failing our children and we are failing our country. Why in the hell would we allow a foreign adversary like the Chinese Communist Party to control a technology platform and key source of information that reaches half of the United States population?
As I mentioned, TikTok has been under scrutiny for years due to concerns that China may be using the platform not only to collect data on Americans, but also to wage what can be seen as a new form of digital warfare, spreading misinformation. Because of these fears, TikTok has long been considered a threat to U.S. national security. In response, the No TikTok on Government Devices Act was introduced years ago to prevent potential data breaches on government-issued devices.
Had to admit that, in fact, they'd been surveilling the locations of specific U.S. reporters that had been writing unfavorable stories about the company.
The U.S. government claims that TikTok has been caught mishandling user data, raising serious concerns about national security. When users sign up for TikTok, they unknowingly grant the app access to extensive personal information: what videos they watch, how long they engage with content, private messages, geolocation data, age, search and browsing history, and even keystroke data. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's comparable to leaving your front door wide open at night, hoping no one peeks inside. With over 170 million Americans actively using TikTok daily, the amount of sensitive data being collected is staggering. To address these concerns, the U.S. government passed the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act, granting them the authority to force TikTok to sever ties with its Chinese-based parent company, ByteDance. TikTok now faces a critical decision: either divest from ByteDance or lose access to its massive American user base. This regulation could take effect as early as January 19th, highlighting the government's urgency. The situation was even classified as an emergency, prompting the Supreme Court to agree to hear the case just 2 days after it was submitted. The government argues that China could be leveraging TikTok to advance its geopolitical interests and spread misinformation, particularly during times of crisis. However, critics argue that banning TikTok infringes on freedom of speech and could set a dangerous precedent, allowing the government to target other free speech platforms based on their content. This raises fears that broader censorship could follow. Interestingly, some point out that platforms like Twitter have seen a surge in propaganda and misinformation in the past 18 months. Arguably more than TikTok, adding another layer to the controversy, TikTok declared in April that it has no intention of selling the company. ByteDance claims that selling TikTok would be impossible because it would require revealing the proprietary algorithm, the secret sauce, that makes the platform so addictive. They argue that this core technology is too valuable to give up. To complicate matters further, former President Donald Trump, who once pushed for banning TikTok during his presidency, now opposes the current move to ban the app. His shift in stance adds another political dimension to the ongoing debate. This conflict between national security concerns and freedom of speech rights has created a complex and high-stakes legal battle. The outcome could not only determine TikTok's future in the US, but also reshape how digital platforms are regulated and how data privacy and free speech are balanced in the digital age.
And TikTok, that's for sure.
I will never ban TikTok.
This is a complete reversal from his stance during his first term when he actively attempted to ban TikTok.
Looking at TikTok, we may be banning TikTok. We may be doing some other things. There are a couple of options.
Interestingly, during Trump's first term, it was President Biden who blocked the TikTok ban after taking office, marking a complete role reversal between the two leaders. Adding to the twist, Trump recently met with TikTok's CEO and even praised the platform for its role in helping him win the last election.
How do you plan to stop the ban on TikTok next month?
we'll take a look at TikTok. You know, I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok because I won youth by 34 points. And there are those that say that TikTok had something to do with it.
Now it seems that Trump wants to negotiate this issue once he returns to office. I assume he plans to use TikTok as leverage over China, since he has requested the Supreme Court to pause the implementation of this law until he officially takes office. So, we'll soon see what happens. While some argue that this move violates freedom of speech, the government insists that it is concerned about China advancing its geopolitical interests and spreading misinformation, especially during times of crisis. On the other hand, there are growing concerns that this could open the door for the government to target other free speech platforms based on their content. So, here we are, folks. TikTok's fate is on the line, and honestly, it's starting to feel like watching a reality show, except this time, the drama's real. The government's been eyeing TikTok like it's that one shady character in a movie you just know is up to no good. You know, the one that collects data on your dance moves, your messages, and probably knows where you ate lunch last Tuesday. And let's be real, we've all suspected China was using TikTok to gather intel, or worse, start a digital war with misinformation. I mean, is this really how we want our next war to go down? On TikTok? But here's the plot twist trail. Na, who once tried to ban TikTok like it was the latest bad influencer, is now like, wait a second, maybe we can work this out. I mean, what happened to the whole "you're out of here" mentality? Now he's ready for some serious negotiations, like he's trying to get back with his ex. Talk about a 180. Meanwhile, Biden's like, we can't trust TikTok, man. It's China's tool for spreading misinformation. And I get it. I mean, the internet's full of misinformation these days, but let's not forget, Twitter's been serving up more nonsense than a reality TV marathon. TikTok might be the scapegoat, but are we sure it's really the villain here? Now, the government's got this shiny new bill ready to chop TikTok off at the knees, making them cut ties with their Chinese parent company. And if TikTok doesn't play ball, well, goodbye to 170 million American users. Imagine the chaos. No more viral dances, no more random lip syncing. What will we do with our free time? But here's the kicker. TikTok's not going down quietly. They've already said, nope, we're not selling. And why? Because their secret sauce, the algorithm that gets us hooked, is too good to give up. It's like a digital drug, and who's willing to sell their drug empire, right? Honestly, part of me hopes TikTok does get banned. It's like that toxic ex that just won't leave your life. Do we really need more random, weirdly addictive videos of people pranking their parents or doing flips into pools? We can survive without it, right? So, who knows what's next? Will TikTok make it? Or will it go the way of MySpace? Either way, this drama is far from over, and I'm just here for the chaos. Let's see what happens.